And welcome back to the Cincy Sports Scene, your weekly pulse on all things Cincinnati sports. I am Dave here with Charlie this week. Sam is out, he's under the weather a little bit, but the show must go on, and we have a jam-packed lineup for you tonight. FC Cincinnati takes down Chicago in a thriller and honors Budenpenza, and Charlie's going to be talking about that here in a minute. The Reds bounce back against Baltimore big time. So we'll talk a little bit about that and what that means moving forward this week. We're naming our pitcher, hitter, and the player that should be designated for assignment. Also, we're bringing back that segment in the show. Plus, it's our draft day special. We're jumping into a live Bengals mock draft and maybe even battling out in the war room. So stick around for our fan favorite trivia segment and find out if you can beat Charlie in answering the trivia question.
It's usually not difficult.
Whether you're a Queen City lifer or just love passionate local sports talk, you're in the right place. So let's get to it with the week that was. So Charlie, first of all, your week been pretty busy out there hunting houses.
Yeah, scouring the world for houses. So if anybody that's listening has a house for sale in the let's say somewhat greater Cincinnati area. I mean, I've even looked at Indiana. So
hey.
But let me know. Pass on the word.
There you go. You can shout out us on our Instagram and Twitters at Cincy Sports Scene, and we'll get that message to Mr. Crawley here. So let's talk about FC Cincinnati here, and they had another close one against Chicago. They won 3-2. I guess they had a little inspiration. It was tragic what happened to Budenpenza last week, and FC Cincinnati paid tribute and honoring them with warm-ups and some other things. So why don't you go ahead and talk about FC's victory 3-2 and Budenpenza's legacy?
Yeah, FC Cincy again wins by 1 goal, which is, I think 4 or 5 wins in a row. I think they've all been by 1 goal. They were up 3-1 kind of late in the game, and I was like, might actually have for them an easier win with a 2-goal lead. But no, then they had to commit a penalty like in the 89th minute or something, and so Chicago got a shot and scored, or a penalty shot and scored. So then they hold on the last 5-6 minutes, and they did, but they controlled a lot of the game. I think if it was I always kind of think of soccer, especially as like a boxing match. If there were judges who would just base it on, not knockouts, but just give points for who they thought was the better team, FC Cincy would have won. It's as much as they're kind of struggling. If you say that, they're tied for first conference, and they just don't score a lot of goals. I mean, 3 was an offensive, barrage for them. So I've said from the first day we talked about FC Cincy this year, I think it's going to be was going to be work in progress. I was hoping they were going to be playing their best soccer June on, and we're almost into May. So they've won 4 or 5 in a row, even with struggling. They got, I think, all their players back, or at least almost all. Miaz goes back. He only played a half, but he's getting a little bit more each time. Hagelin's full go now. Orjano had a little bit of an injury in the practice, but he played he subbed. So until they get him full go too, and the offensive attack, I mean, he's, one of the second or third most important attackers. So still some work, but I think soccer is like any of these sports. We talk about the Reds all the time. Once they get everybody healthy, someone else will get hurt. So I think that's just, you play professional sports. There's guys that get hurt. You never have a roster that's 100% how you want it. And the Reds are never going to be that way. We know that. FC Cincy's probably not going to be that way either. I think maybe the most amazing thing with, local Cincy, I always think of this as the Reds 2012 starting rotation when they made every single start. I mean, how often does that happen?
Never.
For anybody?
Yeah, never.
Yeah, so especially in today's world in terms of pitching. So I think this is the way it is. There, one guy will be back and they'll lose another guy for a few days. The main thing, or a few games. The main thing is just no long term. The guy's out for the season kind of stuff. Like Miazga had last year, Hagelin had last year. So in terms of Budenpenza, yeah, they honor. He had died falling off of a roof or something, or a railing or something.
Balcony or something.
Yeah, in China. He was playing in China. He didn't have a great career at FC Cincy. He came with a lot of kind of hype and hoopla as the next forward, and it just didn't work out. He scored some important goals, but he was an important member of the team, and to be in your, late 20s or whatever, mid-late 20s, and that to happen is horrible. So the team honored him. Even guys like Kevin Denke, who is the new forward, who never, I don't know if you ever met Budenpenza, but he never played here because he just played here this year. But he wears Budenpenza's numbers. Denke scored on Saturday, and he lifted his shirt up and had Budenpenza's 9 on his shirt underneath, and they wore some kind of honor shirt or badge or something before the game, the pregame and things. So I would hope that they would do something kind of all season for a player that, he wasn't here just a game. He was here for really a full season and a little bit more than a season. So I would hope they would do something the entire year.
Yeah, it's a shame. Our thoughts go out to his family, and it's a tragedy anytime someone that young passes away. And like we said, we don't know the exact what happened. I'm sure there's probably reports out there, but I don't want to speculate on anything like that. So we're just going to move forward and wish the best to the Budenpenza family, and in the FC Cincinnati family. And they play, I don't think it's their arch rival, but I know it's a lot of Cincinnati's arch rivals.
Yeah, it's not there. Sporting KC. Yeah.
Sporting KC.
Who's not very good this year. They're towards the bottom, if not the bottom of the standing. So theory, this should be, if they're should be a win, but they shouldn't be winning 1-0 against this kind of team. So we'll see.
Shoulda, woulda, coulda, but how it is in Cincinnati.
This is, FC Cincy's not the Dodgers. They're probably right now who would be the team up there that's Padres. Not maybe the Giants or somebody, or that's not running on all cylinders, but still winning a lot of games and playing kind of the Rockies, I guess. So anyway.
Well, let's hope that they can get another victory and get some goals, and that way we can get a little differential as well. Speaking of differentials, the Reds had a big time differential Sunday against the Orioles. 24-2. There was a lot of a lot of records set, a lot of first times, a lot of second times, or second time since 19 whatever. This has happened, but leading up to that game, a couple of disappointing games against the Mariners. We lost the series 2-1, and I thought we had an opportunity to take the series 2-1, if not sweep the Mariners. Thoughts on the first series before we get into the Orioles series?
Yeah, this is early in the season still, but there's been a number of disappointments, and this was one of them. Losing 2 out of 3 at home against the Mariners. Team that doesn't usually score a lot of runs, but pitches well. And actually, kind of both teams scored way more than I expected. And they had the extra inning game that the Mariners Fraley hit the grand slam that Reds go up 2, and then the Gauntlets up 2 solo home runs to tie. First 2 batters of the 9th inning to tie it, and then Reds. I don't know what it is about them, but anytime they go in extra innings when the other team has scored to tie it, I feel like they're going to lose every time. And it happened this time. It happened against the Giants when the Giants came back on them when they were up 6-1. They went extras and lost that one. So a couple, disappointments. Just going to Baltimore and winning 2 out of 3 is good. Baltimore, I think, is a little having some issues. Their pitching staff is atrocious right now. They got injuries and things, but Baltimore did not go out and get anybody either. If I was their fans, I'd be pretty upset with their front office when you got the potential offense they have, not to go out and get some. They let go of their best hitter or best pitcher, and not to go out and get some other guys. But So, it kind of been how the Reds have been, especially after that real bad, whatever it was, 1-5 or 2-6 start. They've a step forward, step back, 2 steps forward, 2 steps back kind of situation right now. And, it's the question is, can they get on a roll where they can roll, get 5 or 6 in a row? That's give themselves, but then they can't lose 5 or 6 in a row, get some separation where they can win 5 or 6, then, lose a game or 2, but then win 2 or 3 in a row, like start doing that kind of stuff. And I don't see it out of this team yet because I think the hitting's inconsistent. They've scored 24 and 14, but they've also had 3 games of 1-0, kind of thing. So they've definitely been hitting better, regardless of the 24-run game. They have been hitting better. Austin Hayes has been a, definite important addition to the team, from an offensive standpoint, which we all hope for, and we're getting it. Noelvi Marte has been pretty good. I mean, he actually just hit a home run to tie today's game 1-1. So I think that's been a nice surprise because I figured he'd be in triple A for quite a bit longer than this. And he probably would have been without the McLean injury and the CES and whatever's going on with him. So, they're an average team right now, above average pitching, average to probably a little below average hitting right now. So can they get the hitting up to be much more consistent where they don't score 24 and then 3 and then whatever else they're going to score here? So that's the question. Can they do that? Because I'm pretty confident the pitching being good as long as their arms don't fall off. Being pretty good, consistently pretty good all year.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? The pitching needs to be consistent, and they're going to have their moments. Obviously, Hunter Green did not pitch very well in his outing against Baltimore, and Lodolo really didn't pitch great last night. I mean, we'll talk about that in our show coming up on Sunday, but our bats can't go. We can't do what we did Sunday, scoring 24 runs, and then come out Monday and get no hit through 6 innings or whatever it was. I mean, 14 strikeouts by the pitcher, and that's the most by a starting pitcher since, I believe it was, can't remember now. It was in the early 2000s, I think. So the Reds haven't struck out that many times against one single pitcher, and we can't have that if we want to be consistent and, like you said, win 6, 7 in a row to get a little separation. And the schedule is pretty favorable here.
Yeah, this is the time.
And if we just go 500, it's, I think it's time you look at getting rid of some people. I don't know. But like I said, the Reds, I mean, they are playing the Marlins as we speak. It is Tuesday night. We're coming to you on a Tuesday instead of our traditional Sunday night. But and then after the Marlins, we have the Rockies, who are god awful. So hopefully, they're not, with this road trip that they're on, this long, the longest road trip of the year so far, that they're not going through the motions because they get tired. It's not the dog days of August yet. So, they need to be fresh and need to be ready to go. So that leads us to our pitcher of the week. Who do you have there, Crawley?
I'm hoping I would say Hunter Green almost every week, but he didn't have a good start. His one bad start so far. And really the starting staff through this last turn wasn't great. Singer wasn't great. Lodolo wasn't great. Martinez hasn't been all that great all year. So I'm going to go, the best start was Andrew Abbott. So I'm going to go with Abbott as pitch of the week. I think with the close second being Brent Suter, because he really helped
the bullpen.
That pitching 3 innings as a opener the other day. So those are kind of who it came down to. But I'll give it to Abbott because he 6 runs or 6 innings, only giving up a run. So
that's who I had as well. 11 strikeouts in 6 innings. So Andrew Abbott, congratulations. You are the pitcher of the week. Hitter of the week, we're probably going to be the same, I'm guessing there. You mentioned him coming back into the lineup and, hoping that he would produce what he has produced. And as much as I want to say, wins, but I will not. I will save us on that.
6 hits in a game.
I tell you, I mean, that could be, that's a career for some people.
I mean, it's a season for him.
Yeah. So not going to go that route. I am going to go with another Austin, though. Austin Hayes. I think what he brought back his game one this week. And, it's good to see that the ball jumping off his bat. And hopefully he can stay injury free.
Yeah, I was the same person. I was going to go Hayes as well, with the special recognition to Austin Wins, I guess. But more importantly, Noelvi Marte.
Yes, and that's good to see. And let's talk real quick before we go to the DFA, because that could play into it. We ride with Marte until he
Stops
gets
hitting.
injured or stops hitting.
I think you have to. I think, CS is injured, but he's been bad. How do you justify putting CS back in the lineup and sitting Marte right now?
Right.
When he comes back, and then I think even the bigger question, because CS is still young, so you can send him to AAA. Your number one question offensively is Candelario.
Right.
I mean, he's $15 million of not good right now. Whatever bad words I could use some other words, but I won't. $15 million of just taking up space. I mean, he's doing nothing. So that's your bigger question. What do? You got Steer who can only play first base, and he hasn't hit.
Right.
So you got Candelario, Steer, two guys who have been hit at all. And then you got Marte, who's hitting right now, who I just can't imagine you would sit. So, you got DH, but you got Lux also, right. You need to have him in the lineup. He's been one of your better hitters. So I think this Candelario question is going to be hanging over him for a while.
Right. And that leads me to our DFA. So who are you sending out? Who's going to be off this team if you were in charge?
Well, it's the actual one, realistic one, or the one you want to, if you had
well,
the magic wand would be Candelario, because he hasn't been good for a year and 20. I mean, he wasn't good last year either. I mean, he had 20 home runs, but way under value or way under what he, pay him $15 million, and he's bad defensively, real bad, no matter what position you put him. So, but you're stuck with all that money, and the Reds will not do that. Not at this point. They would do it at the end of this year.
Probably, yep.
And no one's going to trade for him.
No.
So,
no.
But based on production, he would be the one to go.
That's who I had as far as, either him or the interesting piece of this will be because Tyler Stevenson and Sam Moll went to AAA for the rehab assignment. Give him 3 days, 4 days down there. Moll will probably have to throw back-to-back games just to see how he responds. Tyler Stevenson will probably have to play back-to-back games as well. Probably game one, they'll probably put him as a DH. Game two, give him a few innings behind the plate. Then, game three, a lot more behind the plate, almost the entire game, and see how he responds. So they might be coming up, by the weekend.
Well, the Stevenson question is easier.
Yep.
Because I don't care about 6-hit Boston
wins, yeah.
He's going to AAA.
Yeah.
There's no doubt on that. But what do you do with Sam Moll? Alexis Diaz, been bad.
Yeah, he has been real bad.
So
he was my other one who I was thinking of DFAing, just because he's
So do you send him back to Louisville?
I think you do.
Now, Sam Moll was not good when he was pitching before he went. I think, how much of an injury was it, and how much was it he had an inflated ERA, and that was his injury.
Yeah.
So he's going to have to prove himself in Louisville.
Yes, I think you're right there. I think he has to prove himself. He's not getting the call up just to get the call up.
Yeah, but I don't know how you send somebody but Diaz down. Who else would be a candidate?
Yeah, everybody else is pitching pretty well. I mean, if you were looking at the entire staff overall, Martinez, he's not, he's not worth the $21 million we gave him. And I think that was...
Yeah, but you would move him into that bullpen long, what he did, what he's always been really good at. Right. So before you would do anything.
Yes, that is true. You probably would. All right. Like I said, the Reds are playing the Marlins right now and the Rockies this weekend. And we'll come back on Sunday to recap those two and give you our hitter pitcher and DFA player of the weeks. All right, moving on to trivia segment here. If you want to play along as you're listening, you can do it a couple of different ways. You can send us an email at Cincy or at csspodcast@gmail.com, or you can direct message us on Instagram and Twitter at Cincy Sports Scenes with your correct answer. So last week, Charlie, you had the question, garnered a lot of views on YouTube Shorts there. So, keep it up. Go ahead and give us the answers if you want to review that real quick.
It was if I remember right, the four freshmen have won the John Wooden Award, the most valuable player in college basketball. Only 4 freshmen have ever won that. And the winners, or the 4 who did it, were Kevin Durant in 2007, Anthony Davis in 2012, Zion Williamson in 2019, and Cooper Flagg in this past year.
All right. So mine is similar, but since we are doing our NFL draft day, it's about the NFL draft. So my question is, since 2000, there have been 7 non-quarterbacks to be drafted number 1 overall. How many can you name? And a bonus if you can name the teams that picked them.
I can't even name. I mean, just my brain is just overloaded, I think. Yeah, I know. Yeah, he'd be better at this, especially the more recent stuff that because you're better if you're asking about 1990 or whatever. I'd be better.
Right.
Since 2000,
25 years ago.
That's a long time ago.
There's been 7 non-quarterbacks drafted number 1.
Probably just happened. I can't even think of that.
Yep.
Did it just
22?
Oh, 2022 was the most recent one.
Yep.
Well, I just talked about him too. The guy from South Carolina, the edge rusher, whatever he is. I can't even think of his name. He's still around though.
Think of Bozo. That should help you.
Bozo?
Yeah. Bozo the
Clowney. Yeah, there you go. Thank you, Davion Clowney. I can't.
2014.
That was 2014.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Who did he even get drafted by? He's bounced around quite a bit. Oh, he got drafted by the Texans.
That is correct.
Yeah, he got drafted by the Texans. Okay. Has there been any receivers in that group? Non-quarterbacks?
No.
Okay. Been mainly defensive players, right?
There have been 2 offensive players and the rest defensive players. Yes.
Oh, Javon Walker or something Walker.
Trayvon Walker.
Trayvon Walker.
Yeah,
Javon Walker is the guy this year.
Yes.
Yeah, Trayvon Walker, he was drafted by the Panthers. Wasn't he? Or Jaguars. Jaguars. They're the same team, so.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, so he's one. He was a more recent one, wasn't he?
He was 2022.
Okay, so he is the most recent. Okay, so Trayvon Walker. And then from there, those are the kind of guys I'm thinking it is, like D-ends, like rush ends. Oh, my brain is terrible remembering stuff. Because I know one of them, it's the Browns guy, the Browns D-end. I know he's one of them. He's been around. He was a number 1 pick.
Yep.
From Texas A&M to the Browns. I even know where he went. Yeah. Got the big contract.
You got the big contract. Yep, that's right. Somebody out there help him.
Yeah, help me out. Okay, I'm good for now. What's my Browns guy?
Myles Garrett.
Myles Garrett, there you go.
Yep. You want to take a stab at the other 4 you need?
Not right now.
Not right now. All right. So if you can help us out there in podcast land, go ahead and give us a shout out on Instagram or on Twitter, or you can watch this episode. It's going to be dropping later tomorrow on Wednesday for the show, and you can put your comments in or put your answers in the comments there. So Crawley got 3 correct. So you got Trayvon Walker, Myles Garrett, and Javon Clowney. So next week, it'll be Sam's turn for the trivia. And that leads us into the Cincinnati Sports Scene NFL mock draft. We did this last year where all 3 of us got into a draft simulator, and we got to pick our team that if we were acting as Dick Tobin, Mike Brown, and Zach Taylor, picking who we want the Bengals to draft. And we're going to do this again. Sam sent me his. He did it earlier today. And, Crawley and I are going to be doing it live now. And then what we're going to do is post these onto our social media. And we're going to ask you, the fans, to vote on the best draft of 2025 and see if you like our drafts better than our favorite team's draft coming up in a couple of days. So without further ado, let's go. You got your draft simulator up, Crawley?
Yeah. I just have
All right.
I have to enter solo draft, but it's here.
So go ahead and enter that and start it. I left mine on normal speed, I believe.
Yeah, I did too. Yeah.
All right, so go ahead. You can go first.
Okay. It's going through all its picks here.
Yep.
Slowly but surely, it's up to pick number 10.
Pick number 10.
Okay. And then I got now I got 3 trade offers here.
That's what I got too. I got 3 trade offers. Go ahead.
I'm going to take. I think I'm going to take a trade offer.
All right. So which one you're going with? Who do you?
The Rams are offering me pick 26, pick 90, and pick 101. So I'm getting an extra pick.
Nice.
Dropping 9 spots back. So, except the Bengals are not going to do this. They're not going to dig that.
No, they're not. They're
so I probably shouldn't do it. I probably should just kind of stick, especially in the first round. I'm gonna reject it because the Bengals aren't going to do that. So
no.
Okay, so then I got my pick now. I'm gonna go with Derek Harmon, the defensive tackle from Oregon.
All right, good selection. All right,
So
I have 3 trades.
Gives me Harmon's a pretty good pass rusher from the defensive tackle, which they don't have.
Okay, not yet, but the comment that came out just the other day, like, got to be an all-around player. They got to be able to stop the run too. So we'll see. I had 3 trade offers as well. Arizona is giving me 5 picks: pick 47, pick 78, pick 152, and then their second round and third round next year. That'd be tough to pass up, but I'm going to reject it because the Bengals would reject that. I mean, they rejected the Saints for Ricky Williams, and we got Achilles Smith, way to go. Washington then gave me 2 picks, and the Giants gave me 3, and I'm rejecting them all. So here we go. I think I am going to we'll go with the Redeemer. I'm going to go with Mike Green out of Marshall. That's who I'm taking.
Okay. So that's pass rusher. Pass rusher, edge.
Yep. All right. So your pick 2, number 49 should be coming up here.
Yep. We're here now. Could take Mark Hafner's favorite player, Travion Henderson. He's sitting there for me as a running back, but I'm not.
I thought it was Billy Price.
Well, yeah, that's his true favorite. Yeah. But he talked to me in the hallway here about Bengals should take one of the Buckeye running backs in the second round. So, but I'm going to disagree with that. I'm going to take this Landon. I need an edge, so I'm going to take Landon Jackson, edge from Arkansas.
All right. Nice. I have 2 trade offers for the pick, the Bears and the New England. I'm going to reject both of those.
Yeah, I had some draft picks. I had some trades. I got rid of them.
Let's see. Hey, Travion is there as well. I think I am going to go Ohio State, but I'm going to go JTT from Ohio State, another edge. So we're going to go.
So you're going to go double edges?
I'm going to go double edges. Might move one of them inside. Never know. You never know because, if Hendrickson goes bye-bye, we're going to need some backup.
Okay.
So
I'm up.
3, pick number 81.
Okay. So I do have a trade offer I'm going to take here. We're at pick 81. Tampa Bay's offering me pick 84, so only dropping 3 spots. And they're taking my pick 193, but I'm getting pick 157. So I'm not gaining any extra picks, but I'm only dropping 3 on this pick to move up almost 40 picks in the next round or whatever that pick would be. So I'm going to take that one.
All right.
So now so a couple picks just went off the board.
Yep. So then you can go ahead and make your selection.
Of course, a guy that I probably would have taken. I just realized went off the board in that 3 picks. So I heard good things about this guy. I don't know anything about him other than what I listened to some mock draft talk. So I'm gonna I'm gonna go with what they were talking about. This Demetrius Knight Jr. from South. He's a linebacker, South Carolina. So I'm gonna take him.
Good one. Yep. All right. So I had a couple trade offers as well, but they weren't as good as yours. So I'm staying at pick 81, and I think I am going to go the safety route and go after the best player available there out of Penn State, Kevin Winston the Jr.
Yeah, he was available. I would have taken him if I would have kept the 81. I agree with that pick.
Yep. All right. So now we go. You're on. I got 119. Where are you at? Did you trade back? You traded.
I'm at
back,
119.
Right? Oh, you're at 119.
Yeah. Now I don't understand this. Like, I got this was the worst trade off. This would be something the Bengals would agree to. I have a trade off from the Rams to give up my pick 119 and to give up 157 or to get 127 and 190. So I would drop back on both of them and not gain anything. So I'm rejecting that trade. Like, what the heck? So I'm at 119. I've drafted a tackle, an edge, and a linebacker. So we're doing pretty well there. We got to get a guard. I probably should have looked at that earlier. Now I think about it, but I didn't. So you didn't take one either.
Not yet.
Yeah, I know. Bengals need a guard. Like, serious. I'm sure there's nobody listed as a high-level guard anywhere near my picks. Probably don't want to reach that much. I guess we'll go back. Let's go on the... We got to get a safety. So I'll go... the highest ranked safety on this list is Jalen Reed. I guess he must be the other safety from Penn State, so I'll take him.
All right. I had one trade proposal and didn't like it. Would have dropped to Miami's 131, and then we would have swapped. They would have gave me a round 6 pick for round 7 next year, and I didn't want that. So I am keeping 119, and I'm taking the best player on the board at defensive tackle. Deion Walker out of Kentucky. He's rated 105 right now. So I'm pretty defensive line heavy right now. I gotta start. When I did this earlier in the week, it didn't shake out this way. so well, that's what happens. They were bluffing. We are starting round 5. Our next pick should be 153. Unless you traded that.
I have 157.
So you got, all right.
Okay. So I'm going to go, I'm going to take a guard here. Now this guy on my one list is listed on here, our simulator, he's listed as a guard, but I have him listed on as a tackle on my list. So I'm looking on my phone. So, but he's the highest ranked guard by a pretty decent number of what I have left. So I'm going to take Bryce Cabeldu from Kansas as a guard.
Okay, I see him, yeah.
And I've got my guard. I'm filling all my needs here.
There you go.
Trying to, at least.
All right. And then you got another pick coming up.
You want me to do that other one?
I'll go mine.
Okay.
Because I got 153. No trades. Imagine that. Nobody wants that pick. So I am going to go with a guard as well, and actually get value. He's listed at the 148th overall pick. Garrett Dillinger, guard out of LSU. So I got to better snag that while I can. So there we go. Now you go for your pick 159 or whatever it is.
Okay. I'm going to go. This guy's looks like a pretty good value. Listed at 141, but I'm at 157, so I'm going to take him. He's another edge, Savion Jones.
Okay. Where's he out of?
LSU.
LSU. Okay. Nice. This is my last pick. So this is my number 193, round 6. Best player available. I don't need a quarterback, but I only got one guard. The rest defense. I think I'm going with value here. Going with a linebacker out of Iowa because for some reason Iowa tight ends and linebackers are pretty good when they come out of there. I'm going with Jay Higgins as my last pick in the 6th round.
What is he? Like, where's he? Jay Higgins.
Linebacker out of Iowa.
Oh, Iowa. You said that. Okay.
Yep.
Well, this is where since I traded up, I got a big old gap. They're still picking for me. I don't even know what my next pick is. I don't know if I have another pick. I might be done. So I might have traded up out of it.
Maybe
out of the 7th round. Because I have 6 guys drafted.
That's what I have because the Bengals did not.
So I just moved up. Yeah, so I didn't actually gain any picks. I just moved up
Okay, so you got 6.
Yeah, well, I didn't realize that. That means I didn't draft a running back. Probably should have.
I didn't draft a running back either, but
okay.
Hey, Zach Moss is coming back. He restructured his deal. We don't need anybody.
Is that true?
All right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. He restructured it. All right. So what we're going to do is take a picture of that. We're going to post it on our Instagrams accounts and all that good stuff. And then we're going to let you, the fan, vote to see which one of us had the best pick. And then we'll see how close it comes to what the Bengals actually do on Thursday night. So
you want to review it and then say what Sam's is too?
Yeah, let's go ahead. All right. Why don't you go ahead and start while I am filling up getting Sam's here.
So first round, I took Derek Harmon, the D tackle from Oregon. My next pick, 2nd round, Landon Jackson, an edge rusher from Arkansas. My 84th, my 3rd pick, who was number 84 overall, Demetrius Knight, linebacker out of South Carolina. 119, I took Jalen Reed, a safety out of Penn State. And then at 153, took an offensive guard, Bryce Cabledew from Kansas. And then at 4 picks later, 157, because I moved up. I must have made my 7th rounder into a 6th rounder or something. Or maybe even a 5th rounder because it's pick 157, Savion Jones, edge rusher, LSU. So I got 2 edge rushers, a guard, a linebacker, a safety, and a D tackle.
All right. So
my only offensive player was the guard.
And we're thinking alike. My first round pick, number 17, Mike Green, edge out of Marshall. The 2nd round pick was JTT out of Ohio State, another edge. So I went back-to-back edges. 81, pick 81 and 3rd was Kevin Winston Jr., safety out of Penn State. 119, defensive tackle Dion Walker out of Kentucky. And 153, guard out of LSU, Garrett Dillinger. And then the linebacker out of Iowa was Jay Higgins. For Sam, like I said, he did his earlier in the day. He had Malachi Starks, safety, number 1 out of Georgia. And then his 2nd pick was Tyleek Williams, defensive tackle for Ohio State. Then he went Terrence Ferguson, tight end, Oregon, at the 3rd round pick. Mondon Jr.
Yeah, how do you say that first name?
Smael. Sorry, Schmael.
Schmael,
my precious, from the Lord of the Rings there. Linebacker out of Georgia at 119. And then he went Devin Neal, running back, out of Kansas at 153. And then Holland Pierce, offensive tackle, for his last pick at 193. So there you have it. We'll get these posted, and we're going to let you all vote and see what you think, and if you think we would win. So you got anything for the good of the order, Carly, before we get out of here?
See the Reds update here. Reds are up 2-1. Fifth inning just ended, so Martinez, for him, pretty good outing for him so far. 5 innings, only give up a run, 3 hits.
Yep. If you can get out of the 5th, that's when it usually starts falling apart for him.
Yeah, Friedel with an RBI and Marte with a home run.
All right, there we go. All right. Now that is a wrap on another edition of the Cincy Sports Scene. If you're loving the content, do us a favor, like, subscribe, and drop a comment on YouTube or your favorite podcasting platform. So you think we nailed the NFL Bengals mock draft, or did we get it all wrong? Please let us know. And don't forget to send your trivia answers to csspodcast@gmail.com or DM us on the Cincy Sports Scene on Instagram and Twitter. Next week, you want to stay tuned for this because we are doing something, a drafting special again. Earlier in our career, we drafted the greatest Reds lineup of all time. And then we also did a lineup of most obscure Reds players of all time. We're not doing any of that. We are just going to go after the average Joe. So we are going to be drafting the best average Reds lineup of all time. So average players, no all-star appearances, no, below the Mendoza line, obscure, but just your common everyday Cincinnati Red. And you're just going to draft them. So, Sam's, if he gets the number 1 pick, we know he's going for Ryan Friel. So, that's the kind of team we are going to try to come up with. So hopefully you'll tune in and you'll get a big kick and go down memory lane on the average Reds lineup of all time. So for Sam who's not here, Charlie, I'm Dave. Everybody, hope you enjoy the show and take care.
See you later.